Hey everyone, I'm going to show you how I green screen and add effects in Photoshop for my stop motion animations. In this tutorial, I'm going to use this panel from JoJo's Golden Wind as a reference and recreate the scene using figures. First thing you want to do is take the pics. For the green screen, I use thin EVA foam. If you have a character wearing green, you should definitely change the background color. Then you want to take those pics and put them in Photoshop. Try to edit the pics as nicely as possible at this stage before moving forward. For this Photoshop edit, I took 4 pics. One for King Crimson, one for Bucciarati, one for the hand going and the other one for Diavolo in the back. Next, you want to use your object selection tool and select your subject from the green screen. Then fix the selection wherever it needs to be fixed. Another thing I do, once I'm done fixing the selection, I go over it with the mask on the layer with the soft brush and touch up all the edges that need to be touched up. I suggest adding different colors to the background so you can fix anything from the selection that you might not see with the white or any colored background. Do the same to the other pictures. A useful tool for these stop motion animations is the puppet warp tool. It's really good for when you can't get the figure to get into a certain pose that you want it to be in. For this portion, what I do is that I cut out the arm from the second picture of King Crimson and I put it in a layer in front of Bucciarati. Now to take out the green tint from the green screen, what you do is that you make a new layer and then you press Alt-click in between the layers and you make the layer type into hue. Then select the color of your choice and draw over it with a brush. Now the rest of the effects just need a little bit of finesse depending on what you're trying to do and what kind of look you're trying to achieve. Now over here what I do is I use a soft brush and I go under the layer and on top of the layer to edit it so it makes it seem like he's actually putting his hand through his chest. Now something you do to make the characters fit better into the scene is adding an adjustment layer. Specifically the hue and saturation adjustment layer. All you gotta do is select colorize when you got the prompt up and lower the opacity. Make sure to press Alt-click in between the layer that you want it to be on top of. Otherwise, it's gonna be over the whole thing. Now what I do for the blood is that I use 2 or 3 different layers to add different effects to the blood. 1, I do the splatter effect. 2, I add the little splatters. And 3, splatter. No, but for real, what you do is that you draw it with the soft brush in one layer, then turn that layer type into overlay, and then what you're gonna want to do is in the other layers, you use the splatter brushes, and you add the little splatters. This is self-explanatory, it just takes a little bit of finesse. You'll be fine. As you see here, I'm using the puppet warp tool again to adjust King Crimson's neck to be closer to the reference panel. And so this is what I do with the faces when I animate them in my stop motion animations. What I do is that I select an area. For example, in this case it's the eyeball because I want it to feel like so what I do is that I select the iris and then press Ctrl J, and then in that layer you adjust the eye how you want. What I do to complete the eye here and to complete the eyeball is that I use a soft brush, I sample the colors, and I try to finesse it into looking like that's part of the figure. Now, to bring in the boss in the background, what I did is that I got a Marvel action figure, Marvel Legends, Archangel, just because it somewhat looked like the silhouette of the Shadow Diavolo, and I had nothing else that had that silhouette. Thankfully, this worked just fine. Now, what I did was that I turned off the colors here, and I made the contrast a lot. So that way, it looks like a silhouette, and I still got the white eyes. Now what I do here is that on a layer on top of that, I make it into a multiply layer, and then I add a black tint over it. That way it looks more like a silhouette. Now what I do here is that I draw the pupils in with the soft brush, and I move King Crimson's eyes down where it's supposed to be, looking at Bucciarati. Now, after adding the finishing touches, it's all done. If you liked the video, please subscribe. If you want to see more things like this, just let me know. And if you want to see more stop motion animation content, just you wait. Special thanks to my friend Nandoman for the music.